What is going on, everybody? Evan Wanish here, back at you with yet another position group preview for the Buccaneers. This time, going to be switching over to the defensive side of the football and focusing on the defensive line. So now that the offense is completely out of the way, we're going to be looking at the defensive side of the football here, and we're going to be starting off with the defensive line. And let's just get right into it. Let's read off who's in this group and what the expectations can be for them in 2023. So, CJ Brewer. Greg Gaines, who was a free agent acquisition from the Rams this past offseason. Mike Green, Logan Hall, the former second-round pick in 2022. Calijah Kancey, the 19th overall pick in this year's draft. Pat O'Connor, Will Prevalon, Deidron Sanat, as well as, of course, Vita Vea. So I'm not going to be listing pass rushers. That's going to be in the outside linebackers video. So if you're wondering where some of those names are, they'll pop in, in a later video. So let's take a look, though, at this group right now. And on the surface, there is a lot of, I think, hope, but also a lot of risk because it really depends on. We know what Vita Vea brings to the table. Other than that, though, is there a proven, like, good, legitimate NFL player in any of these guys right here? Right now, we don't know. Could Greg Gaines become that? He was a good rotational player. We're not sure how the Buccaneers plan on using Greg Gaines in this system, but for the Rams, he was a good rotational player. Can he maybe take another step forward, or is he just a guy that is a good rotational player, maybe not the best starter per se? Logan Hall, the first pick of the second round in 2022. A lot of high hopes for him coming into this year. I think when they drafted him, to me, it was always viewed as kind of a project. It wasn't like he was a finished product going to come in and immediately dominate. So I think you're looking this year for Logan Hall to maybe take another step, not become a finished product. I still think he's a pretty raw talent, but to take another step with more playing time, with more opportunity. So I think that's what you're looking for there. And of course, the one that everybody's going to be pretty excited about is Kalijah Kancey. Obviously, the 19th overall selection out of Pittsburgh has drawn comparisons to Aaron Donald. While I think those comparisons are a little crazy, let's not compare a guy who's never played a snap in the NFL to one of the best defensive linemen in NFL history right now. So I like Kalijah Kancey. I think he has a lot of potential. Hopefully, he can get on the field a good bit in 2023. Like I said, there's going to be opportunity, obviously, just like we talked about with this group here. And we'll have to see how much he plays on early downs. I think that's the big thing because the knock on him is that he's been undersized. He is undersized, and that could get him beat up in the run game a little bit. So the run defense. And I'm curious to see how the Buccaneers handle that. Is he going to be a guy where, look, you might not see him as much on first and second down early on in his career? Who knows? I think Cancey has all the potential in the world. I think he has a potential to be a legitimate 10 sack guy from the interior, and from an interior defensive lineman, that's not easy to do. So to get double digit sacks there, and I think he has the ability and the potential to do that. However, it may take him a little bit. I do expect him to be an immediate contributor. I don't really think it's going to be like a Logan Hall situation where Logan Hall, was sort of relegated to a backup rotational role. I think you're going to see Cancey a good bit in this defense early on. And I mean, he's also drawing comparisons to John Randall, the former Minnesota Viking legend. So, two very good comparisons. If Kalijah Cancey becomes half of what Aaron Donald or John Randall was, slash is, the Bucks have a very good player on their hands. So I'm very excited to see what Cancey can do. Obviously, we know Vita Vea. I'm not going to spend too much time on him. You know what he is. He's always going to make sure that the run defense is as stout as it can be. You just hope that the other guys around him right now are stepping up because, look, they didn't re-sign Will Golston as of right now, as of today's making of this video. They didn't re-sign Akeem Hicks. Like, there's two defensive line pieces that are no longer on the team. So I think that's pretty major, especially Will Golson was a longtime Buccaneer. And there's a lot of, we're talking about CJ Brewer, Mike Green, Will Prevalon. Pat O'Connor's been on the team for a while, but he's pretty much a special teams guy. So he's played a lot of special teams. He'll get more of a shot at playing probably on the interior defense, let alone, not just special teams. So I'm really excited to see it. I think the success of this defensive line really hinges on Hall and Cancey If both of those guys can hit and really play well here, like immediately, I think you could be looking at one of the better, more athletic and explosive defensive lines in the NFL. So I think there's a lot of potential, but also it may be kind of a thing where you're looking at this season and you're like, may have to be patient with this group because I think in the long run it could work out just fine. But I think patience is what you're going to have here with some of the guys, especially a guy like Logan Hall, as I said, not a finished product. Kalijah Cancey's a rookie. I think Greg Gaines is a good player, but we don't know how a rotational player, when he's given a larger role, is going to fare. So it's an interesting group. It's one of the more intriguing groups, I think, on the Buccaneers as they've gotten younger on the defensive line, which was not something they've done the last few years. They've kept Will Golson. They've signed guys like Nadam Getsu and Akeem Hicks. Now they're sort of going the other way, getting a bit younger. So we'll see how that fares for them. What do you think about the Buccaneers defensive line? Are you comfortable with the group? Do you think Logan Hall and Kalijah Cansey can make an immediate, contribution this upcoming season? Do you have faith in Vita Vea still doing his thing? Do you like the Greg Gaines signing? Any of these guys, do you think CJ Brewer, Mike Green, Pat O'Connor, Will Prevlon, Deidre Sanat, do you think these guys can step up and maybe become sort of like, kind of like a surprise player this season for the Buccaneers? Let me know what you guys think. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and talk soon.